The president staged a deranged and deeply reckless photo op when he left the hospital despite still being symptomatic with a highly infectious virus and used it as an occasion to tell Americans that COVID isn't a big deal. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. The president left Walter Reed Medical Center yesterday, making sure to gratuitously touch the handrail a bunch of times on his way down. And as he walked by reporters, they asked him a pointed question that really sums up the state of his presidency quite well.
Do you think you might be a super spreader, Mr. President?
I know we do this a lot, but imagine if a year ago someone told you the president would be asked, do you think you may be a super spreader? The only reaction is, what the happened? It's like if I told you a year from now, someone would ask, Mr. President, where did you put Montana? I do feel like the super spreader question's not the one you want to be getting 28 days before an election. He's the president, and reporters are treating him like he's the outbreak monkey. Mr. President, how many people do you intend to bite? And a quick follow-up, ankles or necks? Gonna give his next press conference by popping out of the bushes and hissing at reporters before ducking away to dodge a tranq dart. Did you get him, Curly? He's too fast! Usually at the point in the calendar, reporters are asking the president questions about the election. In Trump's case, they're asking him if he's Typhoid Larry. Mr. President, if you win a second term, is there anyone else you'd like to personally infect? Of course, you got to be careful with Trump because he might think super spreader is a compliment. My Secret Service code name is Spread Eagle. Yikes. Yikes to that. Can we cover that up? Someone Photoshop a thigh master in there. There you go. That's better. It's not good, but it's a little better. It's genuinely hard to recall a moment in American life that felt more unhinged than the grotesque spectacle we all witnessed last night. An infectious president on powerful steroids and experimental drugs walking around with a potentially deadly virus, making a big show leaving the hospital, flying back to the White House at sunset, and just before Joe Biden's town hall, taking his mask off in front of the cameras and visibly gasping for air like he's been guarding LeBron James all night. I just gave 110%. And I'm happy we held LeBron to 38 points. He looks like a solid gold dancer trying to hold the tableau until the camera's off. Looks like he just got back from a class at No Soul Cycle. And, make sure to go to @SeaCaptainBowles to vote for which one of those 3 jokes you liked best. It's still active. Did you ever take a, way too big a bong rip in college and then you were too embarrassed, so you tried to hold it in for as long as you could, and then you got so stoned you forgot you were holding it in, you somehow swallowed it? That's what he looks like. He either needs an oxygen mask or some peanut butter and a bag of Funyuns. Seriously, was this stunt supposed to convince us that COVID isn't a big deal? The only way this could have been more of a cautionary tale is if Trump started gnawing on a microphone thinking it was a drumstick. See, I haven't lost my sense of taste at all. Man, they're not kidding about extra crispy, though. By the way, the only reason we could even tell that he was gasping for air was that the highly infectious president, who is actively symptomatic with a potential deadly virus, took his mask off once he got back to the White House. Wow, so the villain is unmasked at the end of the episode. The only thing missing was Scooby and the gang. Zoinks! It's old man Trump! That was not good, and I know it. I would have gotten away with it, too, if I just fired Velma and replaced her with Kellyanne Conway. It's horrifying, but I gotta admit, it's also, just good movie making. It's always a dramatic high point when the villain takes off his mask, so the innocent victim can see their face. The only thing missing was the monologue about how long he's been waiting for this. Well. I just love how he took it off like it was a big reveal. We're familiar with your face, my bro. The only way that would have been worth it is if you were premiering your new Selleck stash. And then after that insane spectacle, Trump shot a taxpayer-funded campaign-style ad with dramatic music, as well as one of his weird straight-to-camera Twitter videos where he rambled about how his experience proves COVID is not that big a deal.
I learned so much about coronavirus, and one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're gonna beat it. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We have the greatest country in the world. We're going back to work, we're gonna be out front. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune, I don't know.
Maybe I'm an X-Men now. Maybe I can fly, maybe I have super speed. Like the Flash, I don't know. I tried to ask my doctors, but I couldn't hear them over Judge Janine. We love the judge, don't we, folks? The voice of an angel that's been lit on fire.
And what do you mean you don't know? I thought you said you learned so much about coronavirus. That seems like something you'd want to look into first, especially since scientists have been studying it for, I don't know, months now. He sounds like a fifth grader bull his way through an oral report. I learned so much about the Louisiana Purchase, yet there are many answers we will never know. Was it the purchase of Louisiana? Or was it a purchase made by someone named Louisiana? Also, why does this video look like a commercial for a reverse mortgage? If there was ever a commercial that needed the pharmaceutical disclaimer, it's this one. COVID-19 is a life-threatening virus. If contracted, see a doctor immediately. Allowing it not to dominate you is not an acceptable form of treatment for the coronavirus. Side effects include gasping for air, all caps tweeting, and accordion jazz hands. Honestly, it's getting hard to imagine new ways for him to spread the virus. He's been holding rallies and indoor events without masks or social distancing, walking around near other people while he's infectious, taking a sad, slow ride in his motorcade like a pope who just got canned for stealing office supplies from the Vatican. And there he goes, Pope Donaldus, sadly waving a goodbye, a fitting end for a pontiff who hid multiple printer cartridges in his mitre. And now he's back to the White House and ditching his mask while he's still contagious. He's exhaling a toxic virus like one of the Joker's poison flowers. Nerd life! And instead of keeping his distance, he immediately gets rid of the one thing that could provide some level of protection for the people around him, which isn't just unsafe for them, it also sends an incredibly dangerous signal to his supporters that even if they might be infectious, they don't need to wear a mask. A message he's been sending for weeks by claiming without evidence that masks can have negative effects and mocking Joe Biden for wearing one.
There are a lot of people think the masks are not good. I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. Did you ever see a man that likes a mask as much as him? Because you know what? It gives him a feeling of security. If I were a psychiatrist, right? No, I'd say this guy's got some big issues.
If you were a psychiatrist, your patients would have to treat you. I'm hearing voices, Doc.
Me too. What would you recommend?
I don't know, you tried lithium?
I wonder how that mixes with dexamethasone. That's my COVID medication. Did I mention I have COVID? You probably didn't hear me through my mask. Oh, wait, I'm not wearing one.
Also, what do you mean he's got the biggest mask you've ever seen? Could it just be that your masks are the same size but covers less of your face because your head is the size of a waterlogged picnic ham? And what that is like it would happen when there's a picnic and it starts to rain. So, you know, everybody grabs something, they run for cover, but then once you're underneath an awning or whatever, someone says, "Did anyone grab the ham?" So it's a real thing. And even after Trump was hospitalized with COVID and given a battery of powerful and experimental drugs, his supporters are still mocking Biden for wearing masks, like Rudy Giuliani, who said this after a Fox anchor asked him about Biden urging the president to listen to scientists and support masks.
What would you say to Joe Biden there?
Well, I would say to Joe that you don't really understand what scientists are. First of all, listen to your doctors, that's for sure. They know your personal history. Doctors really aren't scientists.
Do you think you know more about scientists because you were created by them? Rudy's just a bunch of different body parts of deceased mobsters sewn together and shocked with electricity until they came to life.
Well, I couldn't find a neck, but maybe it'll work anyway. Rise, my creation.
Second, maybe your doctors aren't really scientists, but then again, I just assume your doctors work under the 59th Street Bridge. Doc, I got a rash. You could try these pills. They fell off the back of a truck. And then there was Trump campaign advisor Jason Miller, who criticized Biden for making mask wearing such a big part of his campaign.
I'd say that with regard to Joe Biden, I think too often he's used the mask as a prop. Mask is very important, but even if he could be 20, 30 feet away from the nearest person and still have the mask on, that's not going to change anything that's out there. But also we've seen with Joe Biden, I mean, we can't all just stay in our basement for the rest of our lives. We have to get out there and live our lives and take this on, develop the vaccine, develop more therapeutics, and defeat it.
All right, a couple things. First, what's up with your head, man? You look like someone pumped too much air into a football. Second, yes, he's trying to model good behavior and lead by example by promoting mask wearing. Also, you work for Trump. You're the last person who should accuse anyone of using a prop. Trump was literally caught signing a blank piece of paper over the weekend, like a teenager practicing his mom's signature to get him out of gym class.
I'm as mad as you are, Coach, but you read the note.
And I'm sorry, Don, your mother's name is Mom?
Oh, no, I biffed it.
And I love that that's what they're still going with, the stupid basement line for Biden, despite the fact that in this clip from August, he's biking more than Donald Trump has biked, I don't know, ever? I mean, that is possible, right? It's very hard to picture Trump on a bike. Just the swinging of the leg over the frame, or the desiring of it. Just so hard to picture Trump saying,
should we take the bikes out? Or, nice day for a bike ride. Mel? Mel? Should we take the bikes out, Mel? I'm gonna go, Mel. I'm gonna go check the tires, make sure. Okay. I'll check your bell. Love you, Mel.
Yeah, whatever, sure. Biden's a basement troll. Go for it. And what do you mean we have to get out there and live our lives and take this on? That makes no sense. These people are so dumb. They genuinely do not seem to understand the basics of viral transmission. For example, conservative commentator Hugh Hewitt tweeted, "Great to see the president about to be discharged and back to the White House. Wonder how coverage of President Reagan and Ike's discharges from hospital would have fared on Twitter. When Reagan appeared at Congress after shooting, met by 2 bipartisan prolonged ovations." Well, I mean, that depends. If Reagan was shot because he was juggling a bunch of loaded guns in the Oval Office and one of them accidentally went off, I feel like the applause might have been a bit more muted. It's like, this guy. The president got the best taxpayer-funded medical care in the world, and instead of ensuring that every American gets similar treatment, he's telling them to go out and fight the virus because it's just not that big a deal. He's proven once again he has no regard for any life other than his own. He's recklessly putting others in harm's way by holding super-spreading events, walking around without a mask while he's infectious, and telling people who don't have access to the same health care he has not to be afraid of a deadly virus that's killed more than 200,000 Americans. And he's doing it all to pump up his own ego. I'm no psychiatrist, but I think it's safe to say
This guy's got some big issues.
this has been a closer look. God's Love We Deliver cooks and brings over 2 million meals a year to men, women, and children living with HIV, AIDS, cancer, and other serious illnesses, and they need your help. If you're watching this online, you can hit the donate button. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. We love you.